Tax implications for Canadians selling U.S. property. Hi, my name is Allan Madan from Madan Chartered Accountant. Today, I will discuss the cross-border tax implications for Canadians selling U.S. property. Number 1, 15% withholding tax. As a Canadian or non-resident of the United States, you are subject to U.S. taxes when selling U.S. real estate property. When you sell a U.S. property, you'll be subject to a non-resident withholding tax, which is 15% of the sale price. This is normally payable under the FIRPTA rules. For example, if you sold your property on the market for $90,000 USD, the buyer must withhold 15% of the sale, or $13,500. When you file your U.S. tax return to report the sale of your property, the withholding taxes paid can be credited towards the U.S. tax payable on any realized gain on the sale. This amount will be refunded if it exceeds your final U.S. tax liability. Can withholding tax be reduced? Luckily, there is a way to reduce withholding taxes paid by Canadians on the sale of U.S. real estate. You can apply for a withholding certificate before transferring the property. You should apply if you expect your U.S. tax liability to be less than 15% of the sale price. You will need to indicate what amount of tax should be withheld by the property's buyer, rather than the full 15%. The application must be filed before the closing date. The IRS should process your application within 90 days of receipt if all necessary documents are provided. If a certificate is issued before the transfer of property, the withholding tax may be decreased. Number 2, file a non-resident U.S. tax return. After selling your U.S. property, you will need to report to the IRS any amount of the selling price that exceeds the original cost, which is the resulting capital gain. This requires a non-resident U.S. income tax return, Form 1040-NR, to be filed with the IRS. Number 3, long-term capital gain. Long-term capital gains receive favorable tax rates and apply to property held for more than 1 year prior to the sale. The long-term capital gain rate from the sale of your U.S. property is calculated based on your tax bracket. The tax rates for long-term capital gains from the sale of property are 0% tax rate, 10 to 15%, 15% tax rate, 23 to 35%, 20% tax rate, 39.6%. For example, assume that you purchased your property 5 years ago for $90,000 USD. Now you have sold it for $200,000 USD. In this case, the gain would be classified as a long-term capital gain. Your profit of $110,000 would be taxed at a long-term capital gains rate of only 15%, or $16,500 US. Number 4, Canadian income tax on the sale of U.S. property. As a Canadian resident, you must report your gain and pay tax on your worldwide income. This includes capital gains realized on the sale of U.S. real estate. The gain must be calculated in Canadian dollars, such that the actual capital gain or loss reported would include a foreign exchange component, in addition to any change in the U.S. dollar value of the property. To prevent double taxation, you can claim a foreign tax credit on your Canadian tax return for the U.S. income taxes paid in respect of the sale of your property. In conclusion, if you are a Canadian selling U.S. property, you should be aware of the various cross-border tax implications. Keep complete records of the property purchased and any receipts for capital improvements made, so the U.S. tax can easily be determined at the time of disposition. Apply for a U.S. withholding certificate on the sale of real estate to lower your withholding tax. Once you have sold the property, remember to file a non-resident U.S. income tax return and claim a foreign tax credit to reduce your Canadian tax owing. Lastly, ensure that a U.S. tax return is filed for every disposition of U.S. real property. If you are uncertain of what to do, you should hire a U.S. Canada tax accountant to help you. For more tax tips, please click on the subscribe button below and visit our website. Feel free to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Google+. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you soon, and thanks for watching.